Check this out, guys. Autumn is already in full effect here in Japan. The temperature has dropped like crazy. It's about 10 degrees Celsius and the leaves are all starting to change color and drop. It's a little bit wet and miserable. I was watching the news this morning. They're even talking about there may be some snow before it's officially even winter. So things are definitely getting a bit chilly here. But miracles seem to keep happening on this channel. So before we get into it, welcome to today's video. I hope no matter where you are in the world, you're having an amazing day. But some stuff arrived in the back that is the last of its kind. The only one that was in existence, the only one that was in stock. I don't know how this happened, but we're gonna do a little bit of an update on the Skyline and head to the body shop. You guys already know, ice cold day, time for some bucks. Arigatou gozaimasu. So I just got to the body shop, and the other day I was talking to Oga-chan and I was telling him about the issue, and I hadn't started looking for parts just yet. And he was like, do you want me to try and call Nissan and just see what parts they do have, if they have any? Because you never know, you know what I mean? Anyways, it turns out they did have something that I need for the four-door. And there was only one left in stock. The last one available in the entire world, I would assume, because these cars were only like, you know, released here in Japan and stuff, and I think all the parts of any other countries that had these cars, they were shipped out of Japan, right? So let me show you. Yes, Nissan had only one four-door R32 Skyline back panel in stock. And this is so different to the coupe one from the GTS-T. Let me show you. Today's video is sponsored by Davsky, and if you don't know who they are an online store that sell air fresheners for your car. They have an absolutely massive range, so I'm gonna go through here right now. My K-Van's been kinda smelling a little funky lately, or maybe one of these ones. You know what, the Pokey, oh wait, is that a taco one? Yes! We got this little guy out of his package, and oh, that smells so good. And just like that, now the K-Van is gonna smell good. So head to davsky.com and grab yourself some air fresheners for your ride. They're super affordable, massive range, and they always have those really cool little quirky characters and stuff like that I'm sure all of you guys are gonna love. So once again, Davsky, thank you for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to it. So a lot of you guys kept commenting on the previous video and messaging me saying that, Sam, maybe it's because you're using a GTR back panel because the GTR is wider. It's a GTS-T panel that I'm using actually, so it is just a standard like baseline Skyline, not a GTR one. And then a bunch of other people were also saying just do a wide body, that'll fix the problem. Unfortunately, that won't actually fix the problem. And I'll show it to you guys again. So the biggest issue is that the four-door quarter panels are just entirely different with how they meet with the back panel here. As you can see, the quarter panel here actually connects along this line here, really far over from the body here to here. Now in the GTS-T, that's all the way over on the edge here. And you can see that because the previous owner had to actually cut out of the quarter panel here some metal just to make the coupe tail lights fit. And then what they did to make it match the body line, so they heated this up with a heat gun, bent it over, cut it up, and did a whole bunch of body filler and stuff in this section here. Now, I know a lot of people were tagging me in pictures of four doors with the coupe tail lights, and that's because there used to be a kit sold. I'm not sure who it was, but it was mainly fiberglass and a bunch of things to make these lenses work in a four-door. They're not sold anymore brand new anywhere, and when they do pop up on Yahoo auctions, they normally sell for a big amount of money. So they're just like a fiberglass kind of replacement thing to make them work. Now, I've kind of fallen in love with the sedan four-door rear end recently, probably because I've looked at so many pictures of it trying to figure out how it works. And there's a particular Zenki version of them that just look really amazing. They're expensive, but I found a set, so we got those on the way. Now the other thing is, I wanted to show you guys the big difference here. Now I've lined these up here pretty much identical as best I can, and you can really get a good idea of just how much longer that coupe back panel is. And as you can see, it goes really far over. The other issue is that this section here just doesn't line up at all with these pieces here on the sedan and the quarter panel here. So while you could probably weld that in and make it work by cutting out all the edges in the quarter panel there, because remember, the quarter panel is what comes further over and connects to the back panel here, unlike the GTS-T that goes further out to the edge. Now we could probably weld that in and make it work, but then the tail lights on the edging here will not match the body whatsoever. And then we got other issues. So that's why I just opted to just go back to four-door. Also, at some point the rear end may get damaged in the type of motorsport that I want to do with this car. So I'd rather have something that is pretty easy to get parts for and not have to do something crazy custom. So I kind of just manned up and just decided to do the right thing, I guess, in the end. As much as I love the coupe rear end, I have found some FRP covers that go over the 4-door lights that make it look like coupe ones. If I want to use those, I can. But yeah, for now, that's my option. So we got ourselves the last piece in stock from Nissan. There's all the Nissan logos and the part numbers and stuff. This was the final one available here in Japan, so I'm pretty hyped about that. I'm gonna pack everything up in here and leave them for the body guy. I still have to get a whole nother trunk because this trunk is all mutilated and cut up and stuff. And what else do I need? I need a bumper and the tail lamps. But the biggest, like, I guess, trouble piece that I've been really worried about getting is this. And the fact that Nissan had one left in stock, I couldn't say no to it. And the craziest thing is, it was only $350. You'd think, I don't know. Anyways, it was cheap. I thought it would be a lot more expensive than that, but yeah. So that's where we're at with the 32. Got that new back panel sitting in there ready for everyone. Oh, here's a good look. So yeah, here's a non-modified version of the coupe tails. And you can see that how much they had to mold and work this and fill this in to make that suit the edge. Very different there. Might be a bit hard to see on camera, but it's pretty clear. They had to like cut a whole bunch of that off and melt it. You can actually see on the inside of those lights that they cut all of this out in the inside here, just so they could bend this over more and heat it up. Anyways, on the positive side, I now have a spare coupe back panel, which I'm sure at some point in the future I'm gonna need. So this is going into storage. So I probably should be buying a lottery ticket or something, because the amount of good luck that I've had recently has been insane. First a $10 Evo and now this, like, it's just been ridiculous. Everything's coming together and it feels amazing. And while I was definitely really disappointed when I found out about all of this, I knew everything was gonna work out and I just wanted to focus on going to Ebisu and shredding. And then coming back to this good news is just, it's so good. So if I can encourage you guys with one thing, it is, don't worry, even if it sucks in the moment, it is gonna get better. Literally the very thing that I've been trying to say in all my videos is a perfect example right here. So with this, we're gonna go to the yard for a bit and then I might go to the shop. I'm not sure yet. Let's see how the rest of the day pans out. Just got to the shop and this is a sight for sore eyes. The Sylvia behind me. I've been slowly working away, doing a whole bunch of upgrades here and there. Been doing a few Twitch streams and stuff like that, just showing you guys working on it behind the scenes. But we have a bit of progress and an update to give you, and then I want to finish some stuff. So right now, this is currently where the S15 is at. I pretty much have everything sorted out with the thermos and stuff like that. The only thing that's left is some wiring with that. Power steering stuff. Okachan had a new refurbished power steering rack in stock and power steering pump, so I need to switch those out and flush out my lines and redo all of that. That's probably going to be the last thing I am going to do, because that's just always messy and a pain in the butt. These lines aren't finalized just yet, but oil cooler is currently getting set up. I went with a really nice HKS setup, which comes with a nice thermostat and everything, which is super important with a oil cooler on a street car. You want a thermostat one with the oil filter relocation. And what that means is the oil is not gonna go through the cooler until your engine reaches operating temperature. But typically it's meant to be mounted in the front. And the issue that I've had is that the lines and the fittings and stuff that they provide just will not work with how it is mounted here. Also, a common misconception is that you can't mount oil coolers upside down. That's kind of not true. You can. You can't really get an air pocket trapped in there. It's just not how they work. But anyways, what I've got to do now is the fittings that did come with the HKS kit work fine for connecting up to here, but for the oil cooler to here, I had to grab a bunch more of some 90s, and I got some tight radius ones from Kinokuni here in Japan. So it's like a really nice tight radius instead of like the long ones here, because I want to try and keep this not going into where my wheel is as much as possible. So the tight 90s coming down here will be perfect, and then connecting to the oil cooler there in the front. So we should be good. So the first thing I want to do is finish off these lines. So we've got the good old floor vise here. Floor vise gang, oh, that should totally be a thing. How many of you guys got a vise on the floor? I bet a lot. It's actually super handy, to be honest. My workbenches should be arriving soon. I have ordered a couple, so I'm expecting in the next week or so for them to arrive. But for now, vise on the floor it is. these fittings are tight. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with all the lines for the oil cooler kit, and I have two really important tests that we need to do though, which I should have probably done beforehand, but got a wheel back on here and we just need to make sure that this isn't going to contact. Kind of a little bit worried here, but let's see. Oh, we good. We real good. Damn, okay, we good. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful. Let's have a look, let's watch that again. No problem, we ain't contacting that at all. What's that, like a couple inches there? Even if we had new tires on there, it'd still be like a good 1.5 inches there, no problem. All right, so that's out of the way. The next thing is, can I get this oil filter out without it hitting the bottom of these lines? Like, does a screw go so far down that this will contact that and I won't be able to get it out? Now, typically we don't use these longer pitwork ones. And if you don't know, Pitwork is actually Nissan's company. They make like all the aftermarket consumables, or not really aftermarket, but the Nissan consumables that you use for servicing your cars. So anything, if you go to a Nissan dealer, it should be a Pitwork branded oil filter. Typically we use the Nismo ones, which are like a little stubby one. As you can see, we are good there, so happy about that. Actually, one cool thing is Pitwork sells a bunch of really good stuff. Like, you can get really good wheel cleaner from Pitwork. You can also get really good like underbody spray, like the proper like truck bed liner stuff. It's really good. So oil cooler is all mounted and good. Now, something that's been wrecking my brain for a while and been trying to figure it out, which is actually just the simplest like way to solve the solution in the end, is with all this piping hooked up, I am crammed against the chassis here. Now, previously, my piping was like dead center in that hole, and I never had any issues with that fitting. And then I was looking down at this pipe, and this is like too far this way, and it's like the intercooler is too far sucked in. And after wrecking my brain going, why is the intercooler, like this hasn't been crashed in the front, I don't understand what's going on. And then it just dawned on me. The Blitz logo is back to front. It's upside down. It's supposed to be this way. And that would then mean that the intercooler would be a lot further forward. So I just have to take the intercooler off, flip it, and then all the piping will actually match up and be perfect again. There's one thing that you guys know that I preach on this channel, is it's always the simplest thing. Like, go back to the basics always. And generally you'll find it'll all be just a simple like fix to the solution, or it's the simplest thing. Generally it's the thing you overlook that solves the problem. So a little bit of advice for you guys. I hope you enjoy that. I'm going to flip my intercooler now because I feel like a little bit of a special person. But yeah, that's that. So we're slowly making ways on the S15 / still waiting for bushes and stuff to arrive. I also found out, I don't know if I told you guys, but my engine mount is broken on the right hand side. So I got a new one. New one's coming from GK Tech. I think I actually broke that engine mount when I had to pull the trans for the second time because we weren't getting I wasn't able to bleed the clutch, and I thought there was a problem with it. But anyways, so when I was like jacking up and bending the engine, I think I snapped them out. But yeah, so we need to fix that. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is S15 is still being worked on, slowly getting there. I don't have like my own mechanic yet, but yeah, we're doing well. I actually really love this plastic stuff that HKS includes with the lines, with the oil cooler kit, and it wraps around there because if this braided stuff like rubs on anything, it'll actually cut through it like sandpaper. It's pretty awesome actually. I hope it doesn't discolor or anything over time, but still, anyways, looks really nice. I'm happy with my oil cooler kit. Don't worry about this hitting there right now. It won't once we fix the intercooler issue. And yeah, we're good. So just got the intercooler flipped around. As you can see, we got a lot more space here now, and it's a lot further forward. And all the piping matched up way better this time around. And you can see that there's a nice gap now under the oil cooler and the piping. So we're all good there. Everything's all done up, and we're smack bam in the middle of that hole, which is great. Next thing I'm going to work on is actually something that I'm super hyped about. And as you guys know, we got a catch can set up from Radium and stuff. But Radium also make these really cool pressing kind of banjo fittings. And the best thing about this is you don't have to have like this huge 90 coming out from here going that way. It's just gonna tuck the hose right along the valve cover. So I'll show you guys this. So this fitting here will get pressed into the hole right there. And then I'll be able to run the hose straight down here and then loop it into there. It's just gonna be perfect. I'm way too excited about this actually. Now, you gotta obviously press these in, but I'm probably gonna get away with a piece of timber and a hammer. Anyways, I'm gonna get some Loctite on that, some blue Loctite, always good with these things when you press them in, just so they don't go anywhere. This went into the valve cover so much easier than I was anticipating. Just like I said, I used a little bit of wood and then a hammer, and it tapped right in with that Loctite on there, and it is in there. It is not going anywhere, which is awesome. So how I used to have this is this little black hose used to connect to this little banjo swivel fitting here too. Actually, I think it was flipped that way, but anyways, you get the gist. And then that would then slide on there over the top of the turbo, and I didn't like it. It touched the top of the turbo and stuff like that. So the game plan now is I'm going to order some really nice dash tan black braided stuff, and then we'll be able to obviously screw onto the fitting right there now, and it's going to go nice and flush along the valve cover there, and then we can go along the back of the firewall. Obviously this is too short to do it, but if I kind of pull it in tight there, you get the idea. It's away from all the hot stuff. We're not going to have any problems, and it'll look nice with a nice braided line, and then it'll come into the top of the catch can here. By the way, I love these radium catch cans. How cool is it that it kind of fills in this gap here where the ABS usually goes, and it uses the bolting points on the wiper motor. It also kind of covers that wiper motor area. Be cool. I need to get one of those black covers. I don't know where to buy them though. To put over that and cover up that ugliness, but I really like these. These are super cool, and I got another one to put over in that corner. But yeah, it's going to simplify everything and make sure that everything's out of the way of the heat. But that's pretty much it. Otherwise, like, we're still waiting for a bunch of stuff to come from GK Tech in Australia, but shipping delays and stuff from the pandemic haven't been the greatest for us. So hopefully the engine mounts and bushes come. Worst case scenario, I can throw a Nismo engine mount in on the right hand side. It's just one mount that's broken for now until the GK Tech ones come in, so that we can at least make the drift event next week. But otherwise, probably not going to do the hydro until all those bushes come from GK Tech, so we can fit out our Skyline knuckles here, because these are going to be going on there with the hydro setup. But anyways, I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave things today. We got a little work done on the S15, which is still progress in my book. And no matter what I'm doing every day, I'm trying to at least stop here and do a bit of work so that this thing is still progressing, and that we can just spend a couple days on the weekend smashing out everything that needs to get done so that we can make the event next week on Wednesday. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had a bunch of fun, and the weather is, I don't know if you can hear that rain, but it is starting to like get really heavy outside. But yeah, guys, I hope you're excited for the Skyline. Hope you're excited for the S15. Bunch of cool content coming with those soon. And with that, smash the like button, raise a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Ciao, mata.